You can lateral, and I'll just adjust.
Oh,
as
right.
necessary. So what is your? Yeah. So let's sidle to starboard together, or I'll sidle. You'll turn, so that we'll both be facing the wall. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And just be careful.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it on my starboard side too.
Yeah, you have good sonar lock too. So.
Okay.
Very interesting.
It seems like the bathymetry is completely off here. It's too steep for the multi-beam to capture.
Yeah.
Because this doesn't correspond at all to anything we see on that.
Yeah.
According to the multi-beam, we should be looking at the center of the low saddle that we were going to come down on.
So we can already see a whole bunch of coral fans here, a variety of them.
Okay,
they're all oriented facing downward or upward, I guess, and just looking at where the ROV is, I assume that they're facing along the side of the slope. So presumably the current is coming up the side of this ridge and rolling over it.
Yeah, it's bottom-like.
Wow, this looks great. We have to wait until our pilots can get the ROV into a position for them to be able to take a look at the seafloor. And there is a fish in the upper right.
You're almost, we've got about, what, 15 more
And
degrees?
now it's in the middle right.
Yeah,
Hey, Shirley and Patty.
The current's slightly from
this is
behind.
Deb.
Hi, Deb.
Which way are we streaming?
But there's no nav data right now. Is there a way we could get some,
kind of
please?
to the north.
Okay.
It's like a fish. If you look at the Sirius cam, there's like
What
a
we
fish
need right
in
now,
front.
Derek,
Tilt down a
is
bit.
some nav data
Tilting
in the screen.
Okay, good.
So guys, there's also quite a lot of echinoderms, so just going off screen now, you can see one in the upper center
Yeah,
of the
so we're
screen right
almost
now, that
looking at
white.
the saddle
Is actually a gorgonocephalid basket
We're in a
stuff.
halfback.
So we
Yeah.
saw a lot of these on leg one, remember we saw like a whole field of them. And I think here they're just making the most of being on this sort of advantageous position out on the edge where they can filter feed. So keep an eye out for those. Yeah, you can see them coming back on screen now, just on the left. A whole little aggregation of them, I guess. And there's also quite a couple of sea stars around as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're ready for that, I can come up maybe 5 meters and.
I think these fans are bamboo corals, but I'm not sure. I think I see faint banding on the branches, but hopefully we'll get a closer look at these two. And the bamboos are one of our target species of precious corals, so that'd be kind of nice if right off the bat we spotted a
At this
few.
particular point, I don't know what else it looks like. But
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so I am pretty stationary, and I'm up delta 20.
Okay.
Good to white balance.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, video. I'm going to start to white balance if you're ready.
Right now. Okay, we're on the bottom, and our bailout plan is going to set at 230.
So what the pilots are going to do is try to get a white balance now. So they're going to set up the video to be able to maximize our imagery.
So while we're waiting for that, you can see on this
Thanks, video. So it's something in the fibers.
on the bottom here, you can see a number of sea stars,
Okay, so we'll debug that later.
octocorals. I can see over on the lower right what looks like a
enabling
tube
HPU.
sponge.
Ramping up.
So as soon as they get set up with a white and color balance, then we'll get closer to the bottom and we can start getting some images so we can get a better idea of what it is that we're seeing.
Oh, you know what? Now this does kind of make sense, actually. If I'm face perpendicular,
Well,
there's a steep drop off behind me, right?
but
yeah.
it's not showing a straight cliff by any means.
No, but it doesn't. It shows up. Usually a cliff shows up as 45 or so, because it can't. Just the way that the beams come down.
Just to give you folks a little background about the region that we are going to be diving on today. This is on the northern slope of an island called Maug. The Chamorro name for the island is Maok, and that means steadfast or everlasting.
So totally
but if you were to look at a map view of the island, you'd see that it actually is consisting of 3 islets that form kind of a ring. And the center of the island is underwater at the moment. Normally, the volcanoes of the Ring of Fire around the Pacific Basin are very explosive when they erupt, and that's because of the composition of the magma. The magma has a lot of gas in it, and it also is a fairly viscous, so thick, sticky kind of magma that forms when there's a lot of silica in the composition of the magma. So what obviously happened here was that this island blew its top. So despite the name steadfast or everlasting, volcanoes really aren't. But maybe it was because there actually is something left after all of that explosive activity. Back when I was a grad student, I was on one of the Hawaii ships. Actually, I got my master's and PhD degrees there in the University of Hawaii. And we had a side-scan sonar device. That's a device that emits a sound signal into the water column, measures both the time that it takes for that to get back up to the surface, and also is able to characterize the nature of the seafloor in terms of roughness. So it kind of produces sort of like an aerial image, you know, of terrain on land if you were up in an airplane and you were taking photos of the land surface, so that you can get an idea of you know, what's down there, what's happening in the center of a volcano, for instance, if you flew over it. So by taking our ship into the caldera, that is the leftover hole from the big eruption, the ship drove into the caldera and kind of made a circle all the way around the walls of that collapsed crater. And what we saw was that right in the middle there was a mound, and that was what volcanologists call a dome. That's a plug of sticky lava that oozes up from the throat of the volcano after the big eruption is over. If you ever take a look on the web at real-time imagery of Mount St. Helens, what you'll see is that the crater that was created by the eruption in 1980 is now filled with a very similar sort of feature, a volcanic dome, and it's got a very rough, rocky surface. And right on the side of the dome in the Maug caldera, there is what we call a cinder cone. In other words, this is a smaller, petite cone that is composed of very small volcaniclastic, volcanoclastic from broken up pile of debris. So there were not only the eruptions that produced the dome, but then there was, after that, there was another little eruption in this volcano that produced a little cinder cone that is kind of sitting on the side of the main dome. What was really fun about that expedition inside the caldera is not only did I get to ride around on the boat, but we took our rubber boat, put it over the side, and made a little excursion on shore. The island is not inhabited by anything but birds, lots and lots and lots of birds. So as we were approaching this morning, I went out on the afterdeck and took some photos of the island to send to my my advisor and boss back then, who was the chief scientist of the cruise that we went on. That was Donald Hussong from Hawaii, and he and Grant Blackington, who was the engineer that built the ROV, not the ROV, well, it was sort of like an ROV. It was a towed side-scan sonar vehicle that we dragged around inside the caldera. And Don Hussong and I and one of our crewmen took us over to the side of the caldera, and we scrambled up onto it inside this caldera, you can see vertical, basically it looks like vertical stripes of rock.
Yeah.
What those represent are the fractures in the volcano's walls that magma squirts out of. And these were all over the place on the inside of the caldera. What I understand from our friends in Guam, Hafade, everybody in Guam, a lot of people go up to Maug to go fishing. And if the weather gets bad on them, they'll just scoot into the caldera because the little islands provide them some protection from wind and heavy seas.
Okay, this is the NOAA ship Okeanos Explorer. It's America's ship for ocean exploration, and we are coming to you live from Maug, and we're exploring unknown areas of the Mariana Trench National Marine Monument. So expeditions like this, the 2016 Deepwater Exploration of the Marianas, are only possible through successful partnerships and collaborations. The mission's designed, and it's supported by NOAA's Office of Ocean Exploration and Research. Sometimes you'll hear us say OER. The ship itself is operated by NOAA's Office of Marine and Aviation Operations, or OMAO. We say that fast sometimes. This expedition that we're on right now is part of a 3-year campaign to address the Pacific Monument science, technology, and ocean needs. So its acronym is CAPSTONE. It was designed to address the fundamental need of resource managers for this monument to better understand the deepest part of the nation's marine monuments. So some of the key partners in this effort are NOAA's National Marine Fisheries, the Marine National Monuments Program, and the Deep Sea Coral Research and Technology Program.
Yeah, this technology out here is just incredibly amazing. So, you know, aside from the exciting mission exploration that we do, the way the Okeanos Explorer operates is absolutely unique. All of the operations that we do here are driven by people all over the world. So they basically are community driven. We involve scientists from every country. Anybody who's interested actually can get involved in this. And the management communities as well. Instead of being driven by one particular PI, we involve people from a whole bunch of different institutions. So we have multidisciplinary work and multi-institution work. I'm going to let Shirley talk to the pilot here a sec.
Yeah, you just let us know when you're ready to get us started.
Will do. Just about 1 more minute.
Roger that. Thank you.
Yeah, you folks at home are going to be able to see everything that we're doing through our telepresence technology. So it makes the fact that, you know, you guys are at home and you're seeing and hearing everything right now, or maybe a 2-second, possibly a 10-second delay, but it's essentially in real time. We're able to have, you know, dozens and dozens of scientists get involved with the expedition, and certainly more than we could ever fit on one normal research vessel. Shirley and I out here are the 2 science leads, and you know we're the 2 people who have an expertise in, you know, our own field, but because we are limited in understanding perhaps things that we might be seeing on the seafloor, we have the opportunity to reach out, you know, and grab on the phone or over this connection some of our colleagues who really know exactly what the details are about a particular type of fish or some of the corals that we're looking at. And although I really love rocks, I don't know what all of them are. And we can get people who are experts in fields other than my own and get them up out of bed, you know, if we need to, and get them to participate. A lot of them are sitting in at exploration command centers, and these are places on shore that have huge screens that they can see what's going on the seafloor. Also, people just are looking from their home institutions on their laptops, or maybe, golly, I hope nobody's driving and watching their iPhones, but I can understand the draw. Anyway, these are people from not only academia, but we have people from local and state partners that that are chiming in from time to time. So you're likely to hear a whole lot of different people speaking on this afternoon's dive.
And so we had some introductions a few minutes ago for the folks who are either on the chat room and participating that way or calling in on our phone line. So for those of you who are not part of the scientific crew, give you an idea of who's who on the ship. So for the ROV operations, again, I mentioned this earlier, but we're partnering with engineers from the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration, or GFOE, and they operate and maintain the vehicles. I think we're getting into a position now where maybe our GFOE ROV operators could introduce themselves.
Oh, they'll let us know when they are ready, if they are not now. And when they are.
It's pretty good. 1 minute. All right, and then swing arms.
Who we can introduce at the moment is our video clipper sitting right next to Shirley. And her name is Tara.
Go ahead.
All right.
I am Tara Smithy,
Starboard's
from
all the way right.
The Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration. Good morning, everyone. Welcome.
Roland, would you like to introduce yourself?
Should be good.
Sure. And I'm also, this is Roland Bryan. I'm your video engineer, and I'm also switching the cameras around. As you can see on stream 3, that was the Tara in the entire control room. I also work for Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration. I've been with the program for 6 years, and I've been seeing a lot of stuff from the ocean bottom around the world and learning a lot from all of our scientists. So just a quick shout out to appreciation to all our scientists over the years. You guys have taught us engineers a lot about the biology and geology of the world, so thank you.
Are we ready for front row intros? We just got settled in.
Oh, we would love to hear from you.
Okay, so the front row team here is from the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration. I'm the pilot right now, Carl McCletchy.
Sitting co-pilot is Sean Kennison.
And sitting nav is Andy Lister.
And we'll be driving the ROV around to explore the seafloor here.
And these guys are phenomenal. When we pick up a sample on this dive, you're going to be seeing a mechanical arm, what we call manipulator, and it has a series of joints that can be moved. So it's kind of tricky. Imagine if you're, dancing robot, and you're trying to get the moves right. These guys are phenomenal.
145.
So
let me do a check.
What you're going to be seeing is
we have a moment.
We'll just go straight
a manipulator with two metal finger arms that open up and close down.
Okay.
And these fellows have tactile capability. They can pick up a raw egg with this thing because they can feel how much pressure is being applied as they go for a sample.
All right, so it's about 2.5. Good. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right.
Watch lead, pilot.
5.
Yes, watch lead. We are already up here.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, if we can just get closer to the bottom now and get some video of the basket stars that we're seeing, the sea stars, and some of the octocoral fans.
And just to let you know, we came down.
There's a lot of stuff down there. I love it when we zoom in and suddenly...
watch lead. Waypoint 1 was slightly off the edge of the ridge, so we're actually down on the cliff off the edge. I'm not sure if that was on purpose, but as a bonus, we will be going up this cliff for maybe 20 meters.
Okay, that sounds good. And we are at 470 meters now.
Pilots for waypoint 2. I mean, we can go up either side. Right here.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we got up here.
Yeah, pilot, it'd be nice to zoom in as you are on the edge of this very rugged extension of the seafloor. I don't see any pillow lavas.
Humongous sea star right ahead. Dead ahead. Not sea star. What am I talking about? Basket star. Ophiroid.
Okay.
Yep, basket star.
Good video. Let's get
Thank
this
you, Diva.
large bush
I think
here.
that was Diva. I learned a whole lot from Diva on leg
In the background,
1.
sorry, that was Diva. In the background, there are loads more all on the sides of the sort of like, I don't know, whatever else it is to the right. So, yeah, it seems like there's so much to see on this dive, guys.
Oh, wow, yeah. Look at this.
Yeah, while we're zooming in, what Diva was talking about is if you look at the Sirius view, you can see all those basket stars kind of crawling along the edge there.
Right, all along the edge over to the
I'm pretty happy with
upper
that.
left of that Sirius view. So clearly an area where they're taking advantage of, well, Chris happened to mention earlier, Chris Kelly mentioned earlier that there was a lot of stuff in the water column, and so
and there's a squat lobster.
So these animals are positioning themselves to take advantage of the current and the particles, the zooplankton that they eat, and that's coming across these edges.
I suppose we expect the tidal currents to pick up over the next 2 hours.
Starting to drift back out of the light.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, if you go wide video, maybe I can get a toe in or something. So it is centered right there.
What's happening aboard the ship is that the pilot is positioning the ROV, and then the ROV, the remotely operated vehicle, has a huge camera right in the middle of the front of the vehicle, and our videographer then controls the zoom and is able to get us these beautiful high-definition images.
They are, but let me...
So there's a lot of discussion between the pilot and the videographer.
All the way left on port. Can't really check it properly without my pilot cam, but let's see, starboard. It's going all the way right.
And you'll see as soon as we zoom in, what you're looking at now, the little white specks or hair-like things on the surface of the rock that are tiny. You can't really see them too well until we get a close-up, but those are the tubes for worms that live on the surface. Is that right, Shirley?
Yeah. Pushing in.
Do you know anything about those worms? What kind they are? No. Shirley is
a
sponge gal.
Yes, my area of interest is sponge biology and cell biology, but we can see. Are these?
Bottom lock to
let me look at my
grab onto.
So I see a brittle star at the top right that is close to the base of the basket star.
So if we went into autos now, we would.
It's not actually hanging on to the basket star. A lot of the times you'll see
it's just a little dynamic.
Brittle stars just sort of intertwined in the arms of corals.
And I'm sure there'll be other
or brittle
parts that I can actually get a toe in.
On crinoids. They're trying to get up into the water column too to grab stuff to eat.
These things are terrifying.
And every time.
Okay, video, as soon as you're happy with the imagery, we can move on and get some video of some of the other things.
Copy that, science. And rotate up to the left to get the heart.
Okay.
We're pushing in pretty tight now.
Yeah. I think I went too far, coming back down.
Right there it is, upper left. I think that's sufficient. Let's get us lasers and we'll get a full screen.
Yeah, co-pilot, can we get lasers?
Lasers are on.
It's a big one. Tilting down.
Well, there's a rich colony of living critters in this spot. We have a chat room and event log here on the ship, and what we're getting from our shore-based participants is a list of what they're able to identify. So when we zoom in on things, the imagery is of such high definition that sometimes that's all that's needed in order to identify genus and species. Pilot.
Go ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead and zoom in on some of those yellowish fans, please.
The ones more on the right side of the screen.
Roger that.
That side. All right.
The fans that are covering that wall.
Yeah, really abundant. Again, in these, perched in these areas where they can take advantage of the current that's loaded with plankton on which they feed.
See if I can get
lasers.
So we're at a depth of about 470 meters.
Hold on, I have a planned video.
The altitude, actually this is interesting, the altitude above the bottom, directly beneath the remotely operated vehicle that you're seeing pictures from, is 50 meters. So what that means is this is a really steep slope.
Touch up there. Yeah. Yeah, too overhung. Backing up.
So what you see as a steep slope
touch the drawer gently.
actually is continuing down almost 50 meters.
Yeah.
49.4.
Back slowly. All right, we'll just have to do this hovering again video. Sorry. Okay.
So the pilots are just going to hover here while we zoom in. So there might be a little movement as we go in for the zoom that they're not able to control because of currents.
Okay, so this is what is it called? Acanthogorgia? Yeah, Acanthogorgia. And Scott France, who has an expert in octocorals and many other things, he's seen this kind of density of these acanthogorgids actually on North Atlantic seamounts as well.
You can zoom from here manually.
I didn't know I had manual zoom control roll.
You do. Oh, you're the pilot. You have all control.
Down to
maybe like a
meter.
Get some good video of the rocks.
Yeah, what's that little? Jeez, I shouldn't be asking you questions about something that isn't rocks. But what is that thing in the upper?
Looking at that. Oh, look at that.
Right.
Oh.
That looks like a spider.
Yep.
Are there sea spiders?
Well, that's their common name.
Ha! That's a incredibly delicate animal.
This is a pycnogonid.
Yeah, pycnogonid.
And it is called a sea spider. So I'm not really sure if it's very different than the other one, the Colossoscendus or something like that we saw on Leg 1.
You drifted back a little bit too.
Thank you, Chris.
If I get in sync with you, then we'll have it.
All right.
Okay, you can move on.
Okay. Let's go. I'll just go up to
what an amazing abundance of life there is on the ocean floor. And I think I see a little shrimp. No, it's got it's a crab.
Go ahead.
You can go wide if you want now and proceed up the slope, please.
Okay. Once you have your shot video.
Video's good.
Survey around. Okay.
You can see on Sirius there's something pretty large right above you.
Other than Sirius?
There's a fish.
Oh, how about
I'm sorry, no. Above D2.
Oh man, look at the basket.
Are you able to get Watchley pilot? If you're able to get some close-up imagery of the red fans, please.
All right, that's a good one.
There's so many of these fans on the side of this slope. It looks like it's covered with moss, just dripping. There are a lot of small fish. Okay, who's our fish guy on shore? Shirley and I don't know the fish.
That's my upper corner looking.
Maybe like a
So these are deep water cardinal fish in the family Epigonidae. And I can't say for sure that they're in the genus Epigonus. Unfortunately, Bruce Mundy isn't here, but I think there's probably an 80% chance they are in the genus Epigonus.
What's special about these particular fish, Krish?
Yeah, I think you're just about to touch.
Are they?
Well, nothing special about it except that they're really common at around 500 meters everywhere that we've been in Hawaii, as well as here in the Western Pacific and Sinai. They seem to specialize in this depth. You don't see them deeper and you don't see them shallower. They're right in maybe 350 to about 600 meters, and that's it.
Okay, thanks. I just wondered if, there was something unusual about these guys. Thank you for educating us. We are looking at a beautiful red coral. Is this a bubblegum coral like we saw yesterday?
Well, I'll tell you what, if it's not, it sure does look like it's really pretty. We are, let's see, this is for the scientific name, Paragorgiidae, a Paragorgiid.
And it has a commensal.
Some brittle
bunch of arms of brittle stars. Although they look like centipedes.
They do. HD on it either?
No HD.
So that kind of points to a camera problem. Coming back down for your video.
So presumably the red things that are out of focus in the background are the same critter. Beautiful, beautiful things. I don't see too many open, or maybe I do.
Yeah, there's some look like the polyps are extended.
Okay.
Okay, great.
So then they have short,
the whole body video?
Short arms.
Come down a tad. Go.
I am just stunned by how many things there are on this wall.
Did you say you want lasers on? Okay.
Sure.
All right, lasers are coming on.
Les Watling is on our chat room, and he said that he doesn't think that we've seen that ophiuroid, that brittle star, before. So that's great that we have a chance to see it now.
So I think this is prime time for this occurrence.
Yeah, Scott France agrees with him.
Yeah,
the banding is distinctive. Diva's going, yep. Chris and I just said the same thing. Oh, giddy, it's really fun. I wish we could hear everybody on shore. It'd be really fun.
Let's see. Is that wide video?
The trouble is, out here on the Okeanos Explorer, we have to have a ship's crew, we have to have the ROV crew, we have to have some scientists, we have to have,
satellite folks.
Yeah, people who are helping us with this wonderful telepresence.
Yeah, making sure that we can get all this imagery back to the participants and the viewers on shore.
Yeah, and most important of all, of course, is the galley crew. We couldn't survive without them. Squat lobster crawling along the rocks. These rocks are really funny looking to me.
What are they?
That's a good question.
What do you think they are?
I don't know. They're not pillow lavas, first of all. And those would be what I would have expected. Oh, look at this guy forage. He's grabbed. Oh, and he got a bite. He's having breakfast.
So the surface is really irregular with lots of crevices.
Yeah.
And places where animals can go in and hide.
It looks
lots of surfaces upon which they can attach.
Looks like what I would call on the island of Hawaii, the Big Island, where the active volcanism is. I'd say this looks like spatter.
Maybe resting on it.
That means just exactly what you think it means. It's little chunks of lava that get sort of burped out close to a vent.
Situate here.
And they produce a very rough-looking surface like this, although it has been so encrusted with animals that it's hard to tell really what the morphology of the substrate is.
No, because if you watch that, it cuts in and out.
But if we stay here for another hour, we're never going to get to
I know.
You could put it on, but then you'd always be afraid if it loses bottom.
I love the view from the Sirius that shows the faces of these real steep scarps we're looking at that are just covered with very reflective animals.
So the white things that you're seeing in the upper right-hand portion of the video,
the globular things,
the spherical globular things are sponges, and we saw quite a few of them yesterday. They're demo sponges, so they have spicules or microscopic skeletal elements made out of silica, and they're quite common in deeper water, a variety of different species. Okay, over to the left in the distance, you can see what is likely a black coral.
Which one is that?
Upper left-hand side.
So that dark one that we're looking at?
Yes.
Whoa, so those are the precious corals.
How about sea star and then black coral?
Sea star is very pretty. We would like to look at the sea star. And
just
I think
quickly,
one of our shore-based people who's an expert
very
on
interested in sea stars.
He's sitting looking at the video at home, folks, and we're probably going to see him call in a couple seconds.
Asako Matsumoto is calling in from Japan, and she's also on our chat room. She's just counted 22 basket stars in the screen.
I can see her sitting there going, 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't move this up. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, very cool.
Here's Scott. Scott says he thinks the dark fan is a Paragorgia in the quote shadow unquote. So we'll take a look at that in a minute.
Yep.
Gonna get a zoom on the starfish. Look at all the holes in this stuff.
Slight zoom on the Sirius cam.
That's better.
Thank you. Just so you can see that.
Boy, you know, I'm gonna call up. Let's see, is Deb Glickson in the room? Deb, are you there? I'm wondering now, just because this surface of this wall we're looking at is so vuggy, you know, it's got so many holes in it. I'm wondering if this could be limestone.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
You know, Patty, this is Jess. That's a great question, and it's funny. I was wondering that same thing myself. You got me so excited about volcanics.
Yep, I know.
That's all that I've been thinking about. But it does look, on the camera, you know, morphologically, it's just as likely that it could be limestone.
With that toe in there.
Well, I'm glad to hear somebody else think that too.
Go wide video.
Looks like you might be drifting off a little.
Unfortunately, our carbonate geologist that's been joining us, Gene Reinke from Kansas University, I believe, perhaps it's University of Kansas. I don't think he's on the line tonight.
Okay.
Otherwise, we might actually be able to get an answer.
Okay. Well, thanks, Deb. That's good to know. But yeah, the way this has so many in Hawaii, we call these little holes pukas.
Yikes. Go a little wider on the Sirius.
We just got an announcement. I don't know. Can you folks in the ECCs hear the announcements that are made over the loudspeaker on the ship?
All right, video. We'll just go from here.
No, not really.
Okay, that's
not really. Okay, we just got an announcement that we are water rationing out here.
Just for today.
Just for today.
Oh, that's really pretty.
This is a beautiful sea star.
That's really pretty.
Looks like somebody took a little nibble off the right-hand arm, huh?
I don't know. It might just be
or maybe it's folded
up.
under
or
up. Yep. Oh, no, you're right. I think it's just folded up. And you can see its little tube feet.
Going to go in for super tight.
Okay.
And they would be on the bottom. You can see that.
You
kind of the tips. You can see the nice tube feet there. Wow.
And our really high-def close-ups help the taxonomists on shore to be able to identify the species, perhaps. We really do get wonderful high-definition video that helps folks figure out what the animals are. Yesterday we saw a fascinating thing with a sea star.
Yeah.
It had a parasite on it.
I think that was day before yesterday.
Day before yesterday?
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know,
day before yesterday.
Time just collapses on us out here. It's so exciting.
Cool. Yeah, that parasite was that was very interesting. Okay, great.
Pilot, can you get lasers on?
Lasers
so they're going to put lasers on now.
You can see the two red dots on the bottom of your screen. Those are 10 centimeters apart so that we can measure the size of the sea star, and that's about 4 inches for those of you who, like me, are Americans.
All right. So then the black coral is just up a touch. Yeah, so pretty much this has such an overhang that getting
so our land-based scientists who have expertise in these corals are telling us that this was probably not a black coral. It just looked like it was a lot darker because it was in the shadow. It looks like there's something on that as well. Could be a paragorgiid. Pretty, very pretty. Yeah, it is a very nice area.
So are we going to zoom in on that?
Yeah, we're going to zoom in
on the pink guy. Is that another bubble gum?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
It's like my port.
Looks like a cherry tree in bloom in Washington, D.C.
There's really nowhere for me to touch
Hello,
down.
Chris
Yeah, definitely nowhere to touch.
Hi there.
Hi. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for taking a moment to stop at this very brilliantly red Goniasterid. It looks like Mediaster. Unfortunately, my home internet isn't giving me quite the definition that everyone else is getting, so I'll have to check it later. But it looks like the surface is clear enough to see that there are lots of specific structures that one only sees either in Stairmaster or Mediaster.
Oh, thank you so much.
They tend to be generalists.
Drifting back
and this one's unusual in that it's quite red, because the other ones that I've seen from this area are usually white. So, and there's another one off on the right side there. It's not entirely clear what species it could be, Mediaster ornatus, which is a widely occurring and commonly encountered species. I'll stay on just a minute to see if you guys get to see if that other one off to the right there is a separate one.
Okay, so you're seeing you've got a bit of a delay in what it is that you're seeing on your screen. Right now, we're focusing on a paragorgiid coral, and it's got this purple-black brittle star that's on it. We often see brittle stars attached to these sea fans.
And I haven't seen one that looks like this either, a black one.
No, I don't think we have. Yeah. Not in the last couple dives. This is our third dive of this leg. There may be.
There may be.
No, I'm just looking here. A hydrocoral that's a white hydrocoral that's to the left of this red paragorgiid.
You're still drifting back.
Yeah. Okay, if you come wide, I can reset my distance here.
Watch lead pilot.
I'm wondering where those really big
we can start going up slope, please.
They were to the left of this, but it would be good to get some close-ups and confirm that there's bamboo down here. I think that's what they were. I wonder if we can scan around a little bit for those really big ones.
So you're talking about the tan-colored?
No, I don't think so. Where are you seeing the bamboo? Because I'm not seeing it on our screen.
Well, they're not showing right now. That's what I'm saying. Maybe
okay.
Pull up a little bit and look around.
Right, that's what we're going to do. We're going to start moving up slope now.
But there was a bunch of them that were really big fans that I think were bamboos, and it would be really good to document those.
Okay, will do, especially since one of the objectives of this dive is to document the occurrence of precious corals and also bottom fish.
Watch the.
Yeah, we're seeing a bunch of things right now at the lower part of the screen and the upper part. So this is what I'm talking about. These ones in the lower center.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean.
Okay. So those are the ones he wants images of. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that, pilot. I think they want to zoom in on those three fans that are just to the just below the center of the screen.
Sure. Yeah. Video had remembered they were below us from when we were weight balancing.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, these to me don't look like they're bamboo corals.
Currents still look good.
Yep.
Yeah, Scott says that the two lower ones he's pretty sure are the paragorgiids. The white one is the one we want to look at, and that could be a corallid or a bamboo coral. So, yeah, watch the pilot.
Yeah, where you're at, I think you're fine.
Yeah, the white one and even the orange ones, they're different. I don't think they're paragorgia. So these are all something different.
Okay, we're just going to spend a few minutes. Pilot, if you can, get us in a position to get imagery of both the white one and that kind of pinkish one. And then we'll start moving upslope.
Eventually.
Tubular ones, yeah, I saw that before.
Still below you, according to the port nib cam.
Yeah. Co-pilot, want to tilt the Mini Zeus just a little port so you can see the shilling jaw? Absolutely. That's really the only delicate thing out there.
So shore-based science team and our viewers who are not part of the science team, you can see we've got this delicate balance because on the one hand, we've got about 450 meters that we need to traverse to get up to the top of the ridge, actually a little bit less to get to the top of the ridge. And so on the one hand, we want to get underway, but on the other hand, we're seeing some really interesting organisms here that we want to document.
You're still above it and not much
So it's
light.
patties and, oh yeah, look at that.
Oh, beautiful.
Look at that.
That is bamboo. Bamboo. The reason people call these corals bamboo corals is because
kind of obvious.
They look like they've got segments, right? So you folks at home can see these dark bands around the
I'll just
branches.
Go down and hover here, video. There's a nice perch, but the light's not good.
Folks at home and at the ECCs, I think I'm hearing some background sounds, and I'm wondering if maybe somebody has forgotten to turn their mute on their on whatever it is they're listening to us on.
For perching?
I mean, if we move the shilling out of the way, we'd...
would it fall and rest on the box?
No, I just mean it wouldn't be there, but the box would still be there, so...
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, video. Go in.
Maxim.
So we've been diving here for about an hour. Is that right?
Yeah, a little bit under. Yeah.
But almost.
Okay, so there's been a discussion among the scientists in the chat room about what this coral is, and in terms of the scientific names, could be an Acanella, but it seems unusual because Acanella is not planar like this, kind of just a more or less flattened fan, so it's a bit unusual.
Yeah, I'm at a delta of 18. I can come down a little more.
Just a meter.
Scott says that this is a nodal brancher with robust skeleton.
Very robust, yes. For folks who may be just joining, this is the Okeanos Explorer, the NOAA's ocean exploration and research vessel. We're out in the Western Pacific diving on the flank of Maui volcano, which is one of the active volcanic features islands in the Mariana Island Arc, just west, about 200 kilometers west of the Mariana Trench.
I'll get that nodal point.
Okay.
If we can get it to stop oscillating. I
will try.
And we're looking at a very beautiful high-definition video image of bamboo coral, which I'm learning about. I'm Patty Fryer, and I'm a marine geologist, so I'm wondering what the rocks are that the corals are attached to. And Shirley is flipping through our guides here. because she is a sponge specialist, Shirley Pomponi from Harbor Branch in Florida.
Yep. Thanks, Patty. Yeah, these are really, really interesting.
Yellow zoanthid that's growing on the branch of this bamboo is to the lower right of the bamboo. It's overgrowing the branch, bright yellow.
Of the white one or the pink one? Oh, really pretty imagery of the polyps now too.
Those are octocoral polyps. You can tell because they have 8 arms. There's a pair of eyes staring at us out of the branches
squat
of
lobster.
The coral. Squat lobster. And those
eyes
are
a lot of those.
Lower left. As we bob around here, lower left of your screen, or on the bottom of the screen. There he is.
Yeah, co-pilot, it'll be nice to get us out from this knob here, huh? Look at your camera.
Looking for the yellow branch.
Yeah, it'll be nice to get us up and over this.
Is that yellow?
You can see that.
Keep an eye on
yeah, can we, pilot, can we get,
important to image that.
Yeah, I'm sure the pilots heard us, but we'd like to look at that yellow commensal on
over to the left.
The left side of this fan.
Video, can you go what?
It'll take a sec to get in position so that we can look at that that surface of the fan flat on. And it's kind of tricky, Chris, because there's a extension of this wall that you don't want to crash into it with the left manipulator.
We should probably get going.
Yeah. Okay, centered up on the yellow. Let's go in.
Yeah, we can take a zoom now, and zooming in we are.
So those look like they may be zoanthids.
Yeah, these are zoanthids. The question here is whether or not this could possibly be Kulamanamana, the gold coral, and I don't think so, but maybe Scott or Les or Asako could weigh in on this. Polyps look a little bit too short and too wide for Kulamanamana, but if we could, if we find one of that species on this ridge, that would be really important to document. I think this is just some other type of zoanthid that's overgrowing it.
Scott France confirms, looks like that is a zoanthid overgrowth.
Sort of float down the yellow one to the tip.
Okay.
And that's actually not that rare. We often see stalks, whether they're octocoral stalks or sponge stalks, because it's a space that's available for colonization, and so we often see zoanthids on those stalks. It's really hard to identify many of these organisms just from video, which is why we get samples and some.
Check out that crab.
Yep.
It's one of these crabs with spikes.
Yep. So it's really kind of sometimes frustrating because we have limitations on what we can collect, and quite frankly, probably much of what we're seeing here are actually new species. Okay, we're looking at 2 crabs right now. Oh my gosh! So there's oh my gosh!
There's
oh my gosh!
Fight. Well, keep the camera on that. I'm sorry. Forget the rocks.
What are they doing? Oh my god!
Well, they're speaking to one another.
No, they're not speaking. They're
yes, they are.
Oh, who's going to win? The one with a bigger claw. It's the tonnage rule.
And this poor little...
The one that technically just won that fight is probably from the genus Rochinia.
Okay.
We saw it on leg 1, and we actually saw a male and a female on leg 1. And so this one, judging by the pictures, is a male because it's got really strong chile, which are the
claws.
The big claws, I guess. And they're much more sort of thick and robust compared to what the female's claws look like. And That's the ID that Mary Rickson from Texas and Peter Ng from Singapore gave us after leg 1. But he clearly just showed that spot lobster.
And we have
really some rock. You see those striations.
Yeah, just looking at. Well,
just about to call in. Look at those striations. We see what looks like. I mean, this does not. This is great.
So this isn't. So it's not limestone then, right?
Well,
it looks sedimentary.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. It doesn't look quite like striation. It looks like layering.
Yeah. And what's the difference?
To me, it looks like
striations are something that is gouged out of the surface of a rock. Like as a glacier passes over and leaves grinds rocks across it, it'll make grooves in the surface. But this looks like material that's layered just to the bottom left of that beautiful crab who was the winner.
The winner
and champion for today.
All right, I'm just going to pull
so
up
far.
as you come up.
So far.
I'm going to take the crab because we got to look at the geology.
Yeah. We thank you, crab.
Yeah.
All right, watch lead. We're heading
We knew
up.
we were doing that,
There's a big nose above us.
Yeah, there's a nice big crack.
You only have to tell us once. Well, maybe more than once.
You can see where this feature that we're sitting next to has kind of broken apart.
Watch pilot.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think now we will try and move up.
We
Great, I'm on the way.
We better get moving.
If
nice
you look
crack.
at Sirius, there's a giant nose
And of course,
above us,
there's always something that
Yeah.
just pops into view. There's a fish over there. Some more of the pink coral. And a gigantic fan of what now I'm guessing, based on what we just looked at, is bamboo coral.
Bamboo, yeah.
There's a
So in terms of precious
pink
coral, this is
with
interesting
a
area.
ton of brittle stars hanging onto it.
Chunky, fat brittle
Man,
stars.
these critters are never going to let us leave.
I know.
This is just another pair
Oh,
of
and crying.
At
Yeah.
least this one's upward.
Yeah, another
Yep.
paragorge, yeah. Okay, we can move on up.
You happy with that watch lead?
We definitely are.
Okay.
Looks like you're coming to the top on the port side.
Yeah. That's good.
So you can see what we've got to do now. If you look at the screen that shows you the Sirius image, we've got to come vertically up to get to the upper part of this ridge so that we can make tracks.
Slowly go up.
We're at 469 meters. That's the depth for the vehicle, and we're about 11.5 meters above the bottom beneath the vehicle, and still zooming in on critters here.
Yeah, so you can see if you look at the other screen that from Sirius, it's showing really a nice picture of the Deep Discoverer ROV. You can see how it's situated against this slope.
So what is the, presume that's a coral we're looking at, the red coral?
Octocoral?
Yeah, so my guess on this coral, and hopefully the others will weigh in on it, is I think it's some plexaurid in the genus
Swiftia. Yeah, Swiftia.
The branching pattern is very distinctive in that genus, plus the fact that a lot of the Swiftia have pigmented sclerites, which are the skeletal parts, and then they can be quite red like that.
Oh, thanks, Chris.
What we're looking at there is very likely a lithistid demo sponge.
Is that like what we picked up
it's,
the previous dive?
No, we haven't picked this one up, but it's...
and it has a friend.
So these are called lithistids because they have microscopic skeletal elements, spicules, that interlock, and it makes it really, really hard. So it's not what we think of when we think of spongy. This is really rigid and more rock-like, which is why it's called lithistid. This is probably in the family Corallistidae.
And like lithistid comes from the Latin lithos, meaning rock.
Yep.
I remember high school Latin, but not all that well. I think there's a critter down beneath it. Is that a shrimp?
It's too bouncy.
Yeah.
Okay, backing off.
Okay, if you're just joining us, we're broadcasting live from NOAA's vessel of exploration, the Okeanos Explorer.
So,
we are exploring the area of the Mariana Trench National Monument. And we are doing this through the use of a remotely operated vehicle, actually 2 remotely operated vehicles. So the deeper one, from which we're getting this beautiful imagery, is called Deep Discover, and then Sirius is above, and Sirius is providing imagery of the Deep Discover as well as the habitat around the Deep Discover. It's being operated by a most excellent ROV crew from the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration. And we have an equally amazing ship's crew